Good morning on this wet, grey day in London. I have just dropped my daughter off at school and I'm heading into King's. I have 2 more Intro to Ancient History seminars to run today, then some lecture writing in the afternoon. That's basically my day. I'm also going to write a blog post, I think, about the activity that I'm doing with the first years this week, which is, so we're reading Near Eastern texts, like the I'm so awesome, I'm the King of Kings, King texts. And in the past I've always got them to pick 2 or 3 texts and draw out all of the similarities between them. And that's worked really well, but it's a very busy task, as anybody who has read those texts will know. They're very formulaic. So this year, what I've been doing is assigning 4 groups, 4 individual texts, and getting them to pick out something that is unique about their text in the context of the other 4 texts, the other 3 texts. So they need to look at all 4 texts to really kind of come to grips with what is going on. Yesterday, one of the groups that was assigned the Cyrus cylinder concluded that there was nothing, arguably nothing unique about the Cyrus cylinder. And they argued it very well. I also make them justify why they have picked what they pick, and then we go around and debunk them. Because there's very little about those texts which are truly unique. So I'm going to get on the train, going to go get a coffee, and that's the day. Bye. I want to comment on some things that I've said on Twitter over the last few days about feeling like my chance at having an academic career is sort of coming to a close. This is my 2nd year without having got a full-time job. And yes, I've had teaching and I've been doing research, and I have a research position at the Institute of Classical Studies, a non-stipendiary research position, but an affiliation there. And I'm uneasy because, you know, I have been so close. And I know that that's not an excuse or whatever, but sort of getting so close with this major postdoctoral fellowship, having interviews for both research postdocs and teaching fellowships over 2 years, and over the 2 years that I've been on the market. And I really hoped that getting my book done would be a big coup for me. I took some advice that I felt a bit uneasy about. I've spoken about this in another vlog, and I wonder that if I had gone with my gut, whether things would be different. I don't know. I can't go back in time. And I guess I'm just sort of now, like, I don't want to give up. And I've had a lot of mentors tell me not to give up, that I should keep going, that I have something important to say. I have important research to do, and I'm a good teacher, and don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. But it's difficult to see how that is sort of going to work. I will apply for jobs next year in the next round. I think I owe it to myself to do one last good push at making this work, but I'm not going to take on any more hourly paid teaching because I find it so emotionally draining. I love teaching. I put everything that I have into it. I find it very, very exhausting. In a really good way, I also find it very energizing. But I don't want to put myself in this position again where I feel unsupported and like I'm not really making much progress on many things. At the end of this year I will have convened 3 modules, so I'll have that on my CV, and I don't know. So I am having an identity crisis. This is what an identity crisis looks like. I have finished teaching and had lunch, and I am just heading to the Institute of Classical Studies to finish working on my lecture for tomorrow morning. It's been really interesting teaching something brand new. Even the second year ancient history class that I've never taught before, we touch on elements of that in the first year ancient history course at King's, and I'm much more comfortable in that ground. So it's been a really interesting process, both being able to examine how my style of pedagogy, how I want to teach, what kind of teacher I want to be, and fitting that into course material that I am much more unfamiliar with than stuff that I kind of like. I know that if something doesn't work in a particular class, that I have some backups that I can pull out because I have a much wider general knowledge of the subject areas, particularly for the first and second year ancient history classes that I teach. I'm starting to get really sad about the fact that these might be the last classes that I teach. And that's making me even more self-reflexive. I am generally a self-reflexive person anyway, and I'm definitely a self-reflexive teacher. But thinking about my identity as a teacher in higher education, and as a researcher, and more generally as an academic, and what that might mean moving forward, who knows? It is very interesting, difficult, challenging, and confronting. Let's leave it at those 4 descriptive words. Right, so I'm going to go and finish my lecture. Bye. Good evening. It is just on 8 o'clock and I am leaving the library. Normally I pick my daughter up on Wednesday. I'm not tonight because her dad, who is also doing a PhD, has to go to a seminar thing tomorrow night, so we swapped. So I've finished my lecture and done everything for that, so I'm ready to go for tomorrow morning. It might seem a bit odd, but I handwrite my lecture notes. You did hear that correctly. I handwrite my lecture notes. I just feel happier doing it. I remember much better when I've handwritten rather than typed them out. I actually find them easy to decode because they kind of have my feel about them. It's strange. But then I do get really paranoid, obviously, about like putting a water bottle or the ink for my pen, which I carry around in an ink bottle. I use wet ink and a refillable cartridge. So I worry about all those things until the moment I get into the lecture and I pull out my notes. I tried last week for this lecture to type them and it didn't work very well. I felt it was probably the worst lecture I've ever given. Anyway, so that's where I am at. I'm heading home. I am tired. I am feeling ready to sit on the couch and watch some bad TV and go to bed. So I'm going to sign the vlog off here because I'm not doing anything else tonight. And I will see you again tomorrow morning. So thank you for watching. Thanks for coming on my day. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.